While Ohio State is busy attacking another national championship, the Buckeyes flipped in-state offensive lineman Landry Brede from NC State.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to your Tuesday edition of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, veteran sports talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. During today's show, we will discuss the Buckeyes' 2026 recruiting class is complete, as well as grading Tyler Bowen's first recruiting class. But first, we have spent a lot of time on this show talking about what's happening on the field, from the win over at Texas to the win over Illinois and everything in between. We really haven't spent much time talking about Ohio State recruiting. And then there is some news that came out early this week that got a lot of us excited, because it showed that the Buckeyes are not only working hard on the field, they're also working hard on the recruiting trail too, and they're getting some fruit from their labor as the Buckeyes flip in-state offensive lineman Landry Brede from North Carolina State. Brede is from Mentor, Ohio, and Mentor High School, standing at 6'5", 280 pounds. He currently plays left tackle, and this young man has the goods. This young man can ball. And when I watched him play, I got really excited, not only about what he is currently as a prospect, but also about what he can be in the future. Because Ohio State always looking forward, looking into the future. What you are in high school, how can they work with you in college? Once you're in college, how can they help you get to the next level? Now, if they help you where you are in college and develop you and you become a starter and you play to the best of your ability, there's a good chance you're able to play after you get done playing college football. And I think for Landry Brede, the projection for him is pretty good. 6'5", 280. He has some heavy hands. He finishes blocks, no matter if it's a play where he's blocking the man right on the line across from him, or if he is going from getting from the defensive end to the next level, he's able to finish those blocks too. He's pretty athletic. I was pretty impressed with his footwork and how quickly he's able to move from side to side and get from where he currently is in his stance to the second level. He has a lot of things that I believe will be big assets and big positives for the future of the Buckeyes offensive line. And I think for the recruiting for the offensive line, I know that it has been a struggle at times. And it wasn't just a Justin Fry problem. This has been a 5 or 6 year problem where there are times that the Buckeyes offensive line recruiting isn't strong. There's a reason why sometimes the high-end 5-star recruits don't go to Ohio State. And it's not all about the money. If it's all about the money, I get it. Sometimes you look out and you think, well, somebody else might recruit and might develop me better. That might be a thought you have. But I think we look back over the past few years and how Ohio State has developed guys even before Justin Fry got there. While we, as Ohio State people, may be a little bit more critical than most, I think we can look back and think, okay, maybe we were wrong. Maybe things were a little bit better than we gave the coaches credit for. And I think for right now, Tyler Bowen is working with a lot of Justin Fry's guys, and Justin Fry did a pretty good job last year over the past couple of years from being a guy that was trying to figure things out on the fly. You lose your left tackle, you lose your backup left tackle, you lose your starting center. You're like, what am I going to do? You move left guard to the left tackle. You bring in a guy that used to be a starting center. He's now your starting center. You bring in Luke Montgomery. You're rotating at right guard, and you figure the thing out. And it worked out very, very well. And then you come into this year, well, you move Austin Serveld from right guard, who was a swinging kind of player, to solidify the left side, being the blind side and strong side. Luke Montgomery is a staple at left guard. Hinsman is a staple at center. Phillip Daniels, you get him from the portal, he's a staple at right tackle. And so far, Taggart might be a staple at right guard. There were some times where he was rotating it a little bit with certain guys, but I think Taggart's getting better. Is he the weakest link? Yes, but is he still getting better at his spot? Absolutely. And you have to give credit to where credit is due, not only with Justin Fry, but also with Tyler Bowen and what they have been able to do. And I think if I'm a guy like Landry Brede, I see that. I see what Justin Fry did. I see what Tyler Bowen is doing. I see what Ryan Day is building right now. I look at the Buckeyes offense and realize I want to be a part of that. I know what the naysayers and I know what people have been saying about the Buckeyes offensive linemen, and some of the stuff is true. But then you look back to how many guys are getting drafted. I mean, you literally had a guy in Josh Simmons transfer from a G5 school, come to Ohio State, literally played a year and a half in the Buckeye uniform. It was a first-round pick. I drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. You had a guy in Donovan Jackson who went from left guard to never playing left tackle before and made his draft stock go up really, really high. You had a guy in Seth McLaughlin who transferred in and played really good ball, won the Remington Award in his 1 year at Ohio State. And so you look at those scenarios and you're thinking, man, I want to be a part of that. It doesn't matter if I'm a left tackle in high school going to play in left guard, or if I'm a left tackle in high school still playing a left tackle in college. I want to be the best I could be, and the best place for me to be the best player I can be is Ohio State. Now, I get it. North Carolina State, when I look back at his timeline, it was a pretty quick jump from his offer to when he committed to the Wolfpack. He got an offer from NC State on June 20th to committing to them actually on my birthday on June 25th. He got a Buckeye offer on September 6th. He committed to the Buckeyes on October 13th. So it took a little bit of time from the offer to the commitment, but when you're getting the production the Buckeyes are getting on the field, sometimes that is a bigger draw and a bigger recruiting tool than anything a coach can say. And I think that offer coming when it did, and it being from it towards an in-state kid, that weighs heavily on the decision-making and the people inside Landry Brede's circle. In the future, I think Brede is probably going to be more of a guard than a tackle. Now, he could easily still be that tackle. You have to put on, at the minimum, 30 pounds. I don't think you'd be 300 and a left tackle, either on left or right side. I think you're putting on 30 pounds minimum, maybe closer to 40 to be, or 35 pounds to be that left tackle or right tackle that Ohio State wants with the size and length and quickness. If you put a guy 6'5", 280 that may bump up to 20 pounds to be 6'5", 300, $3 bills, and he is your left guard or right guard, I think that's a great starting spot. And so I think for him, make your home there at guard, keep your quickness, look at a guy like Luke Montgomery and look at how he is playing and thinking, I can project myself to be a guy that plays like that. And I think Luke Montgomery is making himself a lot of money this year. The nasty playing style that he has, his tenacity, his relentless pursuit of the guy he's trying to block, and always blocking through the echo of the whistle, that shows up on film. You also know whose film it shows up on? It shows up on Landry Brede's film too. There are numerous times when you watch his tape, you see him finishing through the echo of the whistle, and it's pancake here, pancake there. Oh, one side note before we close up shop on Brede, at least on this moment of the show. When I went back and watched this film, a lot of times I go to the YouTube to look at some highlights, but for the linemen, it's the best for me to watch the huddle film because I like those clips going back to back to back. And I don't know who advised him on this, but being able to use a drone shot from the end zone, it provided a great view of Brede and his footwork and his ability to go from quickly getting a guy who's playing D-end to getting up to the second level and seeing how he finishes blocks, looking at his hand placement, where his hips are, where his shoulders are, his pad level. It showed that in great detail. So I don't know who advised him to do that, but I really liked that advice. I also like the advice that Tyler Bowen got before he came to Ohio State. I think that is showing up in the way he has built his first recruiting class. This episode is brought to you by Wayfair. The holidays are going to be here before you know it, which is exciting, but getting your home ready for guests and celebrations can feel like a lot. Wayfair has everything you need to get your home holiday ready, from Christmas trees and wreaths to bedding, cookware, and outdoor inflatables. It's your one-stop shop for every room in the house. Wayfair makes it easy to personalize your home for the holidays with a huge selection of every style and budget. And with free and easy delivery, even on the big stuff, you can get everything you need without the hassle of huge delivery fees. I recently ordered some new holiday decor from Wayfair, and it completely transformed my living room. The wreaths and throw pillows instantly made the space feel warm and festive. I love how easy it was to find pieces that fit my style and budget. Everything was in one place, and checkout was a breeze. Now, instead of stressing about getting the house ready, you can actually enjoy the holidays with friends and family. Get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. This episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. Guys, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even followed the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thank you all for tapping and Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Tyler Bowen has done a great job already of putting together a strong, very strong recruiting class. And in a short time, since he only got to Ohio State in the spring, he didn't just get to Ohio State and let Ryan Day show him everything and let Ryan Day lead him around. No, it was, hey, we're bringing you in here right now to get to work. And that's exactly what he did, putting together a strong class and in a time period in Buckeye recruiting. You may have thought that Ohio State was only going to have 4 offensive linemen committed, at least right now. You might get a 5th once you get closer to National Signing Day, or hopefully you're praying the Buckeyes flip somebody when the early signing period opens. You currently have 5. And not just 5 being a number that is great to have. These are 5 high-quality guys. And so I'm generally a tough grader. I'm not going to give him A+ because you don't have 6 or you don't really have the high-end guy. But I'm going to give him an A. And as it's coming out of my mouth, as I was thinking about this show, I was like, am I going to do an A? Is it going to be a B+? How am I going to go? Am I going to be a guy that's going to be super, super tough because he's the new man on campus? No, I want to be tough and be fair and be correct. He gets an A because it's not just what he has done with the numbers. It's what he has done in the short period of time he's been at Ohio State. He got there in the spring. He hasn't even been at Ohio State for a full calendar year, and he quickly got 3 guys to verbally commit, and then he added a couple more. And the flip of an in-state kid is huge because what's one thing Ryan Day wants to do with Buckeye recruiting? Lock down the state. The best in Ohio, stay in Ohio. That's not just a line people say just to fill some space. It's true. The best in Ohio, stay in Ohio. And there are still guys that are really good in Ohio that still go out there and go somewhere else and go out and play other places. That's going to happen. But if Ryan Day keeps building this thing like he wants to build it, he keeps getting better and better and better. And there's a real shot that Ohio State wins back-to-back national championships this year. That's just another recruiting tool that Tyler Bowen can use to say, do you want to be at Ohio State? Yeah. Do you want to win a national championship? Absolutely. Then stay in state. And so I think when it comes to Ryan Day's recruiting and Ryan Day leading the team, that has a big impact on how the Buckeyes utilize this current recruiting class. But also when you look at the future and the Buckeyes' future players that are definitely going to be on the team next year, or those that might go elsewhere to play football, meaning the NFL, the Buckeyes offensive line for next year, projecting it, is in a pretty good spot. And even if some older guys go to the NFL, and Sareveld and Montgomery and Hinsman, and there's really every guy that's starting right now could be there next year, I don't think they're going to be there. You have guys that are being developed right now that are going to be big pieces of the pie in the future that Tyler Bowen is currently working with. Ian almost said Ian Moore, not Iron Eagle. Ian Moore, spelled the same though. Ian Moore is one of those guys that's going to be a big guy. It's going to be a huge piece of the pie for the Buckeyes. O-line in the future. Tyler Bowen's working with him. That's a great recruiting tool. Gabe Van Sickle, Josh Padilla, who is not only your backup center, he's also your backup right guard. Ethan Onyanwa is another one. That's a guy that I think, while he came in to start, he is not one that's at starting caliber right now. He's also cross-training in a position that he hasn't played, and better than I think expected. Justin Terry is going to be another one to watch pretty soon. Carter Lowe is probably going to start next year. Jake Cook, if Luke Montgomery goes to the NFL, Jake Cook might fill that role. And so there are some guys there. The Armstrong twins are definitely working. And those are all guys that Tyler Bowen's currently using to develop them, and he's utilizing their development on the recruiting trail. And recruiting offensive linemen is hard. One thing that always opens my eyes to recruiting is how, there are great offensive linemen all over the place, but there's a hotbed of them. There's some that just come from certain parts of the country. Wisconsin, Iowa, Ohio, they produce some really, really, really good offensive linemen, and a lot of them want to stay close to home. Well, it wouldn't shock me if the trend that Tyler Bowen currently has continues, where 2 of the 5 guys that are currently committed to Ohio State in this cycle are from the state of Arizona, and both from Phoenix, and Aaron Thomas from Mountain Point High School, and then Tucker Smith from Sandra Day O'Connor High School as well, both there in Phoenix, Arizona. So if that trend continues, where you can get 3 guys that are in-state and 2 more from the West, you could probably get 1 or 2 from the South, steal them from Louisiana, steal them from Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, still doing from down there. And if you can do that, you can start and get guys from Connecticut and from California and Oregon and Washington. Why? Because you're not just throwing out a wider net. You're throwing out a wider net with a belief and with a stronger base that you can pull them boys home, not only because of what is currently happening, but because of the future. And recruiting is not only the future of the player recruiting, it's also the future of the program. If a guy is recruiting you, but you already know that he might not be there when you get on campus, you might not want to play for him. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. That if you get to a place where somebody is going to be and you say, well, I want to go to this school, but I don't have the good feeling that the coach recruiting me is going to be there, you might not go to this school. Because, yeah, I would want to wear the Buckeye jersey and the Buckeye uniform, but also I want to be coached by Ryan Day. If I was a recruit, I'd want to be coached by Brian Hartline and Larry Johnson and James Laurinaitis. So it's not all about the jersey and the school. Sometimes you got to make sure you're being coached by the right person, and that's a big thing. Yeah, there are guys that grow up that want to be Buckeyes, and that's true. There are always going to be those players. But if Ohio State is not what Ohio State currently is, and another school maybe is a few states, like 4 or 5 states away, and they have everything they want Ohio State to have, I wouldn't be shocked if that player goes to another school. But Ohio State is at the top of the mountain right now. They have been since the end of last year. They are still there. And I think with the way Ohio State is currently playing, and with the way that Tyler Bowen is currently recruiting, you got to give old boy an A. I know I'm tying some of the development into this conversation because that ties into recruiting. If Tyler Bowen is recruiting guys that are in-state, but he is not developing guys while he is at Ohio State, those recruits might bypass the Buckeyes to go to somewhere else. Why? Because Bowen may be a good recruiter, but he might not be able to develop the talent. And he is currently able to do both. Tyler Bowen's done a great job at Ohio State in a short period of time, and it's almost hard to put into words what he has done, but it's very easy to show the appreciation, to give the man his flowers for the hard work he has put in already. Is Tyler Bowen done recruiting offensive linemen in the Buckeyes 2026 cycle? We will answer that question next. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. College football is back, baby, and I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games as low as $25. The app made it super simple. I can even see the exact view from my seat before buying. I love zone deals too. Pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I've bought tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. That's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thank you all for tapping and Locked On Buckeyes. I'm making this show your first listen of the day. The Buckeyes have put together a strong, very strong 2026 recruiting class, and I don't think they're done. Not only do I not think Tyler Bowen is done, I don't think all the other position coaches are done recruiting their runes because the Buckeyes currently have 21 guys verbally committed in this cycle. And on my notebook, I have 6 check marks. No. I got 8 check marks. Sorry, I am a little off there. I have 8 check marks, meaning there are 8 positions that are complete, which means I have 1, 2, 3 more that need more guys. The positions that I think are complete: quarterback, running back, receiver, offensive lineman, D tackle, linebacker, and safety. I think Ohio State still needs more tight ends, edge rushers, and cornerbacks. The Buckeyes have one quarterback already committed. That is a young man from Cali. And when he committed and I started watching this film, man, I got really, really excited. Luke Fahey, standing at 6'1", 180 pounds, out of Mission Viejo High School in Mission Viejo, California. That young man can spin it, and I can't wait till he gets to Ohio State. He actually dreamed of being a Buckeye, and so when you dream of being a Buckeye and you get the Buckeye offer, oh man, if you're good enough, it's almost a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen. Running backs, pretty solid there. Favorite Rocky is one kid out of Ohio as well, out of Delaware, Ohio, Rutherford B. Hayes High School. I was thinking a 6 foot even, 190 pounds, the 15th best running back in the class. I think Aki is going to be phenomenal in the future. But also looking at what Ohio State currently has in their RB room, you can't be upset with only having one guy. Donaldson is the only guy in the room that's going to be gone. Peoples, Jackson, West, Dixon, and even Toba Rogers will all have eligibility left to be at Ohio State next year. I don't know if all 5 of them will still be there, but all 5 of them can be there. So I think Bo Jackson next year is going to be the best. The one interesting one is going to be James Peoples, because I could see a scenario where Peoples enters the portal because he has been jumped by Bo Jackson. But if he stays and he realizes while West and Rogers and Dixon are still there, he can still be RB2 and be a phenomenal guy to be a duo combination with Bo Jackson, that'd be fine. Receivers, he got 5 guys currently committed. Chris Henry Jr., K. Dixon White at the top of the room, top of the list, and they're phenomenal. 5-0 line, we detailed that a lot in this show. Tyler Bowen, hats off to you for the great work you've done in the short time at Ohio State. The issues come in with tight end. There are 0 tight ends currently committed in this class. There's only 1 edge rusher, 3 D tackles, 2 linebackers, 2 safeties, 1 corner. I could have left the safety part blank, but I'm comfortable with 2. And I should be, because the Buckeyes are going to keep putting these guys there. I think there were 3 safeties committed last cycle. You may get 2, you may get 3 every now and then. You're going to be fine. There's going to be a corner. There's going to be a hybrid. There's going to be a safety / nickel back, similar to Jordan Hancock and Lorenzo Styles Jr., and that's what you want. Buckeyes still need a tight end, more edge rushers, and another corner, and I think they'll be fine. And also with the way that Ohio State is playing right now, and with the way this stuff is going on right now at Penn State, I wouldn't be shocked if Ryan Day has been working them phones and working really hard and have those coaches on this assistant coaching staff work overtime. And Mark Pantoni has been doing the great thing to manage his program from a roster standpoint to make sure that if there's anybody on Ohio State's radar that was at Penn State, at least as a verbal commit, they try to make that flip happen. So I would not be shocked if before flip season officially opens, which it hasn't opened yet, the Buckeyes get another flip. And it's a guy that was firmly committed at Penn State that is currently going to be going to the Buckeyes. Why? With the way Penn State is currently going, and I'm not trying to, well, I am trying to just be real about the program. Penn State firing James Franklin, it's not all about the money for the school. It's about what the direction of where the school wants to be. But they are doing things right now. Now, this drastic fall from losing to Oregon and then dropping a game to UCLA and dropping a game to Northwestern, that's unheard of. But think to what Nebraska did. Now, Bo Pelini was not the recruiter, and Bo Pelini had to deal with some stuff that was a little bit different because of the conference move that Nebraska had. Bo Pelini was a walking 9-3 coach. Most schools, even Nebraska, should have kept him. But they said, no, this isn't our standard. And while Nebraska standard, well, the old standard, is where Penn State wants to be, I think Penn State right now is a better program than Nebraska was, and Bo Pelini was there in Lincoln. But when Nebraska got rid of Bo Pelini and they said, no, where we currently are isn't good enough, we want to be better, they took a massive, massive fall, which adds to how well the team is going. It puts more oomph into it because they're doing the things that they've been trying to do for over a decade. And now Matt Rule may be gone. I'm not saying he's going to be gone. He could go to Penn State, which would I shock him? Absolutely not. Penn State's a better program than Nebraska is right now. But firing James Franklin could easily lead Penn State into the territory where Nebraska currently is. $56 million, man. If I gotta write a check to somebody to get him out of town and I gotta give up $56 million, yo, I don't know if I could do that. That school did. The Buckeyes recruiting class, they're not done. They're not turned to the page of 2027. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think Ryan Day's put together a pretty good class, a solid class. And I think as he continues to recruit, and while they're also attacking another natty, you're going to see more work done on the recruiting trail, and you're going to like the results of the fruit from the labor that the Buckeyes are putting in. Thank you all for tapping in Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen today. For your second listen, check out Locked on Big Ten because Craig Sheeman breaks down the most exciting conference in college sports from the rivalries to the championship and every game in between. Find Locked on Big Ten on YouTube and Locked on Buckeyes on the YouTube as well, or wherever you listen to your fine podcast. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. This has been Locked on Buckeyes on a Tuesday. We'll see you next time.